people? Welcome back to another episode of the Jagged Edge. It's number 77 for us. This is Ian here along with Chris.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. Another busy weekend. Had a little bit of time off here. But like you were saying, before we booted up, every time we have that little off season, it throws everything off a bit. Because we're always digging back through news cycles to see, now we got 2 weeks worth, what's relevant, what's not, and everything. But hey, plenty to report on as always. Always a lot of gems to dig up here. Some slightly in the past, some current, but we got it all right here.
Mm-hmm. We got most of it. You have all the stuff you need.
All you need. I'm embellishing at this point. But a whole lot on the plate. Daredevil is out on Netflix season 3.
Oh my God, that's even still going still.
That's that too.
Oh my God.
The Adventures in Hell's Kitchen and more. Dig on into that if you've been following the series. We're gonna have that right here on the channel. Usually when those hit, we like to do a review that weekend as they come out, but we're just a little inundated here. We're kind of swamped. So we're going to be actually officially recording that on Monday, and we're going to have that release ASAP for you guys. In the meantime, lots been going on with the Let's Plays. Thank you all for those of you who tuned into those, who checked those out. We appreciate it.
There's a lot of that coming yet. You haven't seen nothing yet.
Oh, yeah. Mega Man has wrapped. Mega Man 11's wrapped up. There's more Spider-Man on the way. We're just about to get the next big release for that. The Heist DLC. We got the other big pre-patch for that. That patch was about 5 gigs, I think, just for the New Game Plus stuff.
Well, yeah, probably the first one's going to be a little bit bigger than the rest because they're implementing the new mechanics and such. So
right.
That makes sense.
Right.
That's typical. DLC and various pieces will usually have the front end will usually be heavier than the rest of it.
For sure. But hey, tons going on between Spidey, Soul Calibur, movies, and all that. But hey, let's jump right into what we got today. And the first thing we're looking at is the brand new Glass trailer. Now, it's no secret, Chris and I loved Unbreakable.
That is such a good movie.
It was so solid, and please, do yourself a favor.
Ahead of its time.
Definitely ahead of its time. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. This was a movie, and we're not just tossing that phrase around lightly. I mean, literally, this was before MCU was a pipe dream.
Yeah, well, I think that was 2001.
It was.
Go ahead and talk. I'm going to look it up.
No, it was super early. Yeah, I remember I saw this during my freshman or sophomore year of high school. But yeah, the premise is so simple. The lead-in isn't hokey at all. But
2000.
2000. Good gracious, man. But this was really just a surprise superhero movie of the time, and I love it because the movie kicks off, and you don't really have a concept thinking, I'm going to watch a superhero movie.
I mean, you got to think about it at the time. What did we have? I think around that era, maybe even a little bit before it, but I think we're talking, just to give you a feel for superhero movies at the time, you're kind of looking at X-Men, you're looking at Spider-Man,
right?
You're looking at Blade for a little bit more mature content, but definitely of that time, of that era. I mean, this movie came out and said, look, let's give a bit more of a grounded, realistic twist to this.
Right.
And, Shyamalan's all about his twists. So, but it's really good. It's probably my favorite of his movies.
Cool. No, I think rightfully so. There was a time when, oh goodness, let's see, what was the other big one? Sixth Sense, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably for most people, or The Happening.
Right.
I'm joking. No one likes it.
Right, of course.
Oh, there goes my first F-bomb. 2 minutes in.
Wow.
Slid it out. That's a little slide.
Here's the jar. I'll have to. I'm keeping the swear jar since Luke Cage is gone. But
oh
well. That's all other can of worms. I know I'm kind of jumping topics on you here.
All right. We'll cry about that later.
Yeah. Alas. But yeah, hey.
This looks great.
No, it does. It does. It's more of what we saw in the first trailer. You've got these 3 massive characters coming together. I feel where we got a lot of snips of things in the first trailer. This gives some scenes are same-ish, but you get a little bit more definition here. I love the start with Mr. Glass still effectively, on a burnout is what it seems, but. The quintessential scene I'm waiting for that I can't wait is to see what's the event that gets all 3 of these guys in the same room into this session together, and then what comes of that. That's so cool, and I think that's kind of the title image I think of when I see this stuff now. So
I gotta be honest with you. I'm not even trying to figure out how they're gonna do this movie. I'm just kind of hoping it's really good. And it looks like it definitely has the potential to be really good. Considering the superhero movies that we get now, which I generally love, I think I'm going to enjoy this for its different take, just like I enjoyed it so many years ago,
right.
for similar reasons. I'm a little worried about how much we're going to actually see the hero, how much we're going to actually see Bruce Willis's character in this, because we're not seeing a lot of stuff from him so far.
This
We're
is
seeing
true.
some, but I don't know. We'll see. Interesting though is that every single one of us over here, you, me, and Jason and Isaac, all really want to see this, and you've all said, "I want to review this movie."
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna have a nice big cluster of a review for this thing when it comes out in January, because everyone's on this wagon.
Awesome. It'll be worth the trip. Looking forward to it. I mean, we don't get to do a whole lot of 4-man reviews anyway.
No, it's
so.
been tough. We've tried. In fact, there is some content we haven't released yet where we've tried this out.
Right.
It's just tough to get us all together doing something like that right now. So, but I think this is we'll see.
Yeah. Stay tuned. This one's still in the pipe. The other one that you were pointing out, trailer-wise, we had a new release on was Pet Sematary.
Now, you're not a big fan of the scary stuff, but you've seen Pet Sematary, right? You've seen the original?
Yes.
Okay. People point to it as a classic. It's fine.
Right.
The ending, I always thought it was really weird when I first saw that movie. I was like, okay, so wait, why is the spirit trying to keep him from not putting the pets into the, not burying the pets, not burying things in the pet cemetery? Wouldn't he be trying to get him to do it? And then
right.
I thought it was really weird, and this is my understanding that they actually that was backwards from how it was in the book.
Right.
So I don't. The impression I'm getting is that this is not a remake of the movie; it's another movie made from the book. And so that being said, I hope that this stays more true to the story. Which, again, it's my understanding Stephen King books. They do get butchered quite often when we made into movies. So, we'll see. But this looked really good. This looked like a lot of fun. I actually was initially not going to say anything about this.
Right.
I had no plans on it, but this actually looks like a really good trailer. And the feel I'm getting from this is really good. This is coming out in April. So, but yeah. What'd you think of it?
Cool. Yeah, the same thing that evokes that kind of the spooky imagery of the Conjuring, like animal spirits and stuff like that, and this kind of ritualistic you feel and everything. I really don't remember a whole lot about the original. It's literally one that I went over and saw because people were saying the same thing. Hey, this is a classic, etc.
I know. I bet I can tell you what you don't forget about that movie, and it's ingrained in my head. Is when the little kid's underneath the bed, he's drop back, and then he cuts into the guy's foot.
Yeah, that's just he
screw you, kid.
Heebie-jeebies, man. Heebie-jeebies.
No, we just did a review on Halloween. You gotta check that out. That's fun. But if you don't like spoilers, just stop after we do the score, because Jason blurts one out right at the end. It was hilarious.
Oh, you get free
I
spoiler.
left it in there because it was hilarious. But check out our Halloween 2018 review. But like I said, if you don't want any spoilers, cut off right after we score it. Otherwise, yeah.
Cool. All right. Those were, I think, just two of the trailers at least that stood out to us, but we didn't have any shortage of news, mainly in terms of DC, also a bit of Marvel, and I really wish we could bring some good DC news.
I called this. I'll usually bring that up. I called this.
That's fair. You did. Yeah, you did. But unfortunately, we don't have decent DC news, and that is about the Flash movie. This has gotten pushed back. It's delayed once again. Again. Golly. According to Variety, that the Solo Flash movie has been pushed back again. It's now eyeing a release around 2021. The delay for this, look, this is reportedly due to the script not being ready for them to go into planned production in March. Due to that, Ezra Miller's upcoming film schedule, it's going to be a pretty long time before anything can be put into place again to even start, principal photography for this. So, yeah, if you kept up with the WB series, enjoy that. That's all you're going to get for a while.
That's all you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, yeah.
And Flash, for me, like I've always liked the character, but it starts to get weird when you go into the timeline stuff. Because I've even heard in the show the rules have gotten rewritten. If any of you listening watch Flash, post up in the comments if they are doing something weird with timelines and things like that right now. I know, what was it? Wasn't there an animated short on Flashpoint?
Oh yeah, no, there was a whole movie.
That's right.
Yeah, there's an animated movie, which was a lot of fun, and they did a pretty good job. I mean, the animations tend to be able to get away with stuff like that. You don't need a whole developed world for that because you're watching something animated, which can pull from the comics easier. It's more relatable. And again, you know who these characters are. You know who Aquaman is. You know who Wonder Woman is. Batman, Superman. You know who these characters are. But when you're trying to do something that's based in a cinematic universe, that's why I hope they're actually not doing Flashpoint. And maybe 3 years from now, I'll feel differently. 3 years from now,
listen to yourself.
Maybe I'll feel differently then. But, yeah, all right. I mean, again, I called this. This is not surprising. I give it 50-50 if this movie ever gets made at this point.
Maybe it'd just be a safe option just to stick with DC animated. I mean, they seem to still be doing pretty well right now. I mean, I know I've enjoyed all the shorts they've had.
They're going to try to, you're going to be able to find all that stuff, I guess, on their DC streaming channel.
It's on the way.
So, yeah.
Cool.
I mean, if you're a big fan, then go for it.
Yeah. Has Isaac signed on? Is he going to do that?
No. He used to be a huge DC fan. I don't think he's really there anymore. He used to love all the WB. The CW Arrowverse. But we talked to him around what was it, Comic-Con, and he's about all of that in specifics, and he's not really following it anymore. So,
tapped out, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of over all the shows and stuff. Especially because we were reporting on all that stuff with the upcoming Batwoman,
right,
and all that, and he's just he's like, no, he's just kind of bored of it. He says they're all they're too much of a formula used in every show all the time, and I was even watching The Flash there for a bit, and I'm just I kind of moved on. What I'm watching. I'm on my third run of The Office now, which is, oh my god, that's so good.
Classic.
Yeah, that's what I'm watching now when I'm on the treadmill.
The machine knows. Love it. I just, whenever I think Office, I think back to the GPS episode. That's one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff. Hey, right on lines with superhero movies, going into Marvel. This is something that looks like it's missing from the 2020 release schedule that's slated. Now, I think I threw you a reference list here, too. And theory on the board right now is that this is due to Guardians 3 being next, of course, due to the whole James Gunn incident that's happened with him losing his position post-Comic-Con. Now, looking at the release schedule, what's on from February all the way through December, there's still some untitled stuff. There's like titled Disney live action, you see some Pixar, and then there's like, untitled Marvels, etc., etc. But there's still some room here for something to come of this, and this ties into sort of what's happening even with the Guardians crew. Gunn himself has found a bit of a landing spot at Warner Brothers. But Dave Bautista's even stated that he'd like to go and, he'd love the chance to go and follow his former director to WB.
Dave Bautista's being a toolbox. He's been one since June.
Yeah, and he take on the role in the sequel, yada yada yada. Sequel to the 2016 film itself. If he goes on to do Suicide Squad 2, which James Gunn is actually going to be writing, of course, and possibly directing. But like you said, Batista's been feeding into this, all along. So, hey,
He's just trying to poke the bear.
yeah. Yeah, I think that bear's not going to move, man.
No, nobody
No.
likes the fact that James Gunn isn't doing. And yes, that 2020 spot I believe is because of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which we will get. They're going to have to do some shuffling around, but this is not the first time they've had to do that. They did that with Inhumans, which I believe didn't that open. I don't think it was that spot, but I think Inhumans being canceled for the DC for the MCU is what led for the opening for Spider-Man.
Right.
So I think they had to do some reshuffling, but I think that was basically it. They'll get it out. It'll be fine. I think they're still going to be using James Gunn's script that he wrote for the third one.
Right.
Obviously, he won't be directing though. James Gunn moving on to the worlds of DC with Suicide Squad 2. I mean, yeah,
sure.
And that's a bit of a poke in the eye. You know what? Dude gets to poke him in the eye.
Yeah.
So, whether you agree with it or not, this is fair game. And does it actually make me excited for Suicide Squad 2? A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's a damn good writer. I don't know if I want him directing or not. I don't, outside of Guardians of the Galaxy, I haven't really seen any of his work. Nothing that I can think of off the top of my head.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, why not? Why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they use James Gunn? Why, welcome him with open arms. I mean, dude can pull this stuff off, which is something that they have not been able to do well yet.
True.
So, I mean, he could find huge and lasting success there.
He could.
And I mean, Disney's going to do what they're going to do, and I don't necessarily disagree with them on it, although he was trying to make amends for his horrible comments in the past, but they were in the past.
Right.
And they, it's like we were saying, they need to make it right if he's going to stay, and they just, whether he couldn't make that right or Disney did not want to help him make that right, we're here.
Right.
And so, your director / writer for some of your biggest fan favorite MCU movies is now over at the DC. And, I'm thrilled about it. I'm like,
sure.
Please, put him in there and let him do a lot of work for you, because I mean James Gunn did a lot of stuff to help align the MCU. And he was in line to take over for Foggy when that day, I'm sure, would inevitably come at some point.
Right.
That was the guy they were talking about to take over as far as directing this whole giant mega franchise. So this could have some serious lasting effects as far as how the world of DC goes forward.
But if anything, one thing DC has sort of missed is, I think a good calculation Marvel's made is investing in that variety of talent. Some younger talent and others, you just look at the direction of Guardians and then the direction of Thor Ragnarok. You've had a lot of different hands in that pot, but I think as a result, you have a lot of the solo hero films with a real fresh feel to them. I think one thing DC could really use is sort of an injection of that variety. Not just trying to copy or take a formula that's already there, but just to have that kind of inspiration at the source and to build itself and to create a strong foundation. Yeah, he's definitely one of the people that could do it. He's got a proven track record. And hey, I wish him the best, because I am not in that camp that says, DC needs to stay bad. And I want DC to succeed. So
right, no, we do, and we poke at it because we love it.
Yeah,
and and I poke at it pretty hard sometimes, but that's because I wanted to do well. It's interesting though, because I mean, there's obviously a machine and an establishment in the MCU. And that thing was going where what I mean by that is James Gunn was working with that, and that same machine is obviously not over at Warner Brothers.
Right.
So that could affect things. It may Suicide Squad may be better than both the other Guardians of the Galaxy movies. But it could be worse.
True.
Without that kind of institution in place, it may not end up doing as well.
Right.
That being said, the first Guardians of the Galaxy came out. Geez, what was that? Was that 2014?
I'll cover you. Give me a sec.
Yeah, I think it was 2014, and that was the first time that they did a group movie besides the Avengers. And what's important about that is the Avengers obviously had all those other Phase 1 movies to build off of, where he had to build basically a very unknown franchise. I mean, nobody really knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were at that point. Even most comic fans, I mean, they'd probably heard of them. Like, I'd heard of them. I'd seen some of them. I didn't really know anything about them, though. I mean, his work on these two movies really built this into a household name.
Yeah.
They've got a powerhouse here and a difference maker. And I think it's right to start them out with what has probably been one of the biggest panned DCEU movie franchises. And just look, can you do something with this?
Right.
And it's just kind of, I think it kind of fits the mold of that, the type of movie that they probably want out of that franchise too. So yeah, there's a lot of potential here. Go for it and keep your ass off of Twitter.
Well said. Well said. On to some bad Marvel news, and this is right as Daredevil kicks into gear.
Yeah, great timing.
Golly. Yeah, Daredevil gets a season 3, and then Luke Cage and Iron Fist are canceled. This was a joint announcement by Netflix and Disney. The Marvel Netflix series, Luke Cage, has been canceled. This comes just a week after they announced Iron Fist being canceled too. All this is happening as Disney decided to let their contract with Netflix expire, as they start planning projects for their own streaming service. Reportedly, the whole expiration, it wouldn't affect the current titles being shared between both companies. But man, that sucks.
Yeah. It's weird and confusing, and I don't understand it. Normally, when we talk about these things, I can get a feel for some kind of possibilities as to what's going to happen here.
Right.
I want to say, well, yeah, they're ditching Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and then they're going to do Heroes for Hire. I don't think that's what's happening here, and I think Jessica Jones is not far off either. I think I really don't know. I mean, the deal between Disney and Netflix is weird, and they haven't told us a lot either. The most important thing that they said was, look, the Netflix shows are going to stay on Netflix. But what the kind of feel I'm getting here is that I think a lot of these are getting canned.
Right.
And I think we're going to see more getting canned because Disney was still producing them.
Right.
And I don't think they want to anymore. And I think since they're going to let this deal expire, so they probably, and this is me guessing.
Sure.
This is me guessing. I think, excuse me, I think what's happened here is that Disney's putting a price on producing these things that Netflix does not want to pay.
Right.
That's what I think is going on. I question the future for all of these shows.
Yeah.
I know Punisher Season 2 is in some state of production.
Right. That's got to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You say that, I don't say that.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It was a well-done show. It was not the Punisher. Right. So if I don't see Punisher, that's fine. I'm actually just fine with that. You have some additional talk earlier in the last couple of weeks. Gosh, what's the actor's name who plays the Kingpin?
Oh man, I'm not the guy to ask off the top of my head.
Well, he was doing an interview, and somebody had asked, they made a mention about how it was disappointing that we'll never see him in a Spider-Man movie, and he had made the comments of "says who." There's a lot here. Disney at the same time is definitely trying to wrangle in all their Marvel properties, which they've got. Yeah. They've got all but one now, and I really think, and that being Spider-Man, which they have access to.
Right.
And I really don't think that they're going to want these they don't want these Netflix shows kind of hanging in the wind after all the time and money. And don't kid yourself. There was a lot of reasons why they did the deal with Fox.
Sure.
The main reason they did it was to get the Marvel group together.
There you go.
That's, I mean, to get their hands on Fantastic Four and X-Men,
Yeah,
that's worth what they're spending, and they
it
know
is.
it.
It is. It's
That
well worth it.
that alone is worth the billions that they're spending to make all this happen when they're looking at the future of the MCU for the next 10 years plus.
Yep.
The X-Men alone would be worth it.
Vincent D'Onofrio, by the way.
Okay,
D'Onofrio, sorry.
Yeah. He was in an interview and made a mention about, don't be so sure that you won't ever see Spider-Man and Kingpin together. There's a lot going on here that we don't know, and part of that has to do with the fact, when they announced Iron Fist last week, I actually wasn't all that surprised. I mean, it's been the redheaded stepchild of this group.
Right.
A lot of people didn't like season 1. I thought season 2 was a little bit better, but I also thought it was weird that production, they only did 10 episodes.
Right.
I didn't think they'd cancel it, though, outright, because of how they left it. Did you actually go watch that last episode?
Yeah, I did. You were telling me about it. Be sure to
I said,
in.
If you need to know what's going on and where they left us, just watch the last episode. It's a really weird place that they left it. And when they just announced Iron Fist last week, I'm like, well, okay, they'll wrap this up in Luke Cage, though. And,
right.
But obviously they're not doing that either. Luke Cage is surprising because I know that's popular.
Yeah, definitely.
But they don't tell us viewers, though. They don't tell us any of their view numbers.
No.
And Netflix never does. So all we can do is just guess.
Especially where Luke Cage left off. That was wide open.
Right.
Man.
I get, at the end of the day, if for a bigger, broader, interactive MCU, these shows have to go off of Netflix, I'm for it.
Right.
I'm for it. And I don't really think that plays too much of a role into the decision making here, though. It's all over the place because the TV producer for the TV side of the MCU doesn't get along with Kevin Feige.
Right.
We've talked about that time and again. And for these new shows that are coming out on the Disney streaming station, the ones they're talking about with Loki and Scarlet Witch, those are being produced by Feige. Those are being produced by the movie side.
Right. The
TV side has been the one that's been doing all these shows with Netflix. It's a mess. It's a big giant cluster, and I don't, had they just announced Iron Fist, I would have concluded that was probably due to bad ratings, bad views.
Right.
But I know that's not the case for Luke Cage. So then that makes me look back at Iron Fist and question why they really let that one go. Right. There's something going on here, and I'm pretty sure if I were to bet, Jessica Jones is coming up next.
Probably, because if Luke Cage got the axe, for goodness sake, I mean, it's an equation of dollars and cents. At the end of the day, you know that's what factors into this ultimately, but
right.
Oh well.
But then again, we weren't told a lot of specifics about the deal, though, either, when Disney and Netflix decided to split up. All we were told was the Netflix shows are staying on Netflix.
True.
But, as for the future of that and the shows that come beyond that, like at the time Daredevil was in production, I don't know. I don't know where the Punisher was. I'm pretty sure season 2 of the Punisher is in production right now. I don't think they've done anything for Jessica Jones, but they never said anything about the show's future.
Right. True.
So it's, they just said that, the Netflix shows are staying on Netflix. Well, what does that mean? That, all we know for sure that means is all the shows that are currently out are probably all the shows that are already planned or in production aren't going anywhere.
It's a good reminder to how important it is to sort of look between the lines at announcements like that. It's easy to bait and switch announcements like that, or to have something lead you into believing X when you just know what Y is. You have no idea what X could possibly be. Kind of like the whole thing that happened, Star Trek and Patrick Stewart. A lot of people are going crazy about that. Potential, Next Generation follow up and everything, and it's not quite what you think off the bat. So
yeah, that's because you got the dirty kid that nobody likes. He somehow got his hands on the Next Generation stuff. Yeah. Actually, all the Star Trek stuff. So
right.
It's something that makes me question about the future of Luke Cage and Iron Fist going on the Disney streaming station. If that would be part of the plan or not, is the fact that these Netflix shows have been very mature.
Right.
And in fact, there's been in some of them a fair amount of sex and even some nudity, and Disney's not going to want any
No,
bit
they
of
won't.
that.
Nope.
They are hardcore PG-13. That is the ceiling,
Right. Right.
and I don't see them passing that for. Don't get me wrong, I've loved all these shows, but they are Class D superheroes.
Right.
They're not the big Daredevil being the exception.
Right.
Luke Cage, I would even put it a little bit higher than that. But Iron Fist and Jessica Jones are definitely on the lower tier. They're not going to push the boundaries on this brand new streaming station and potentially have one of their customers' little 5-year-old kids coming across something on Jessica Jones they should not have seen.
Right. Right.
I worry about the future of Deadpool, especially with this PG-13 movie that's coming out in December. This version of Deadpool 2. I worry about that.
Same.
So I don't know. This could be it.
Yeah.
This could be it. And I would actually, if I was forced to bet, I would start betting on they're going to wrap up what they're doing, and this is going to be it because something in whatever deal they ended up with, Netflix is not wanting to continue.
Yeah.
And Disney's not going to want to put them on their stuff. So,
hey, yeah.
But I do think there's a future for Punisher and Daredevil. I mean, for God's sakes, they've had their own movies.
Yeah.
And these are iconic characters. But if it means that they have to go away for a few years, that I can get them in a larger, more interactive MCU, I'm okay with that.
We'll be better for it. I
think we would.
Yeah. Cool. Well, the machine's not stopping any day soon, man. I mean, this is, just count the phases and beyond. This is still rolling into this year, 2019, right. 2020 and beyond. So we'll see where it goes.
20 years from now, I'll be telling my grandkids about, I remember Phase 1 came out in the theater. I saw Iron Man in the theater.
That Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. Oh, man. Now it'll be cool.
Forget about the Hulk. You had the one movie. And actually, now that I say that, after that does remind me, Universal owns distribution rights to the Hulk, which is why we don't get one. But
that's why.
Yeah. Marvel actually owns the rights to the character, but they own certain amount of distribution and movie rights. Yeah, that's why Hulk does not get his own movie, and they're willing, and frankly, I don't blame them, to just let that die. It is kind of ironic because with every movie that comes out with the Hulk, Universal's probably like, we ain't letting this go. Letting it go for nothing.
Oh man, because they got this thing, they can't let it go for nothing.
Yeah.
I just I don't know. I just wish Hulk would smash puny distribution, right?
I would love a Red Hulk Green Hulk.
Right.
So much.
Right.
And it's still there. They've already planted all the seeds with General Ross. And,
yes, they have.
And what's her name? The chick.
Betty.
Yeah.
The chick.
It's all planted right there. They could do it at any time.
Oh yeah.
Hell, even bring back Abomination for a cameo.
Sure, why not?
That'd be a perfect way to show how huge and awesome Red Hulk is by having him just crush Abomination.
Dude, Red Hulk is no joke.
Nope.
That would be amazing.
Yep. Maybe someday.
Oh well. We can dream. But hey, one thing that is not far-fetched that we don't have to dream very long about is that next Spider-Man movie coming out. That's Spider-Man. I'm gonna butcher the name. I was about to say Far Away From Home, but I don't think that's right.
No, it's Far From Home.
Thank you, Far From Home. That's gonna
less than a year away.
Yes, next summer coming up.
This year's movies are all less than a year away.
I love it. Another good thing about getting into holiday season now. But there was a recent Jimmy Kimmel where there of all places we got pew pew pew. We got our first look at the new Spider-Man suit. Pew, pew. And if you don't know what that is, hey, go check it out. Spider-Man Jimmy Kimmel. It's posted. It's there on YouTube, and I'm sure a lot of other spots. But it's a funny reveal. Pew pew pew. And if you go post a comment if you find out the meaning of pew pew pew. You get the idea. Tom Holland shows up. It's just a hammy just sort of off the cuff, just fun moment. I love this. I love this stuff.
The first time you watch it is actually very adorable. The second time you watch it, you start seeing all the holes and all the with the skin, but it's still fun. It is still a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, no, it's cool to see. It's a surprise visit there. Now, as you were saying, there's a lot that's pointing to Shield in the next Spider-Man movie upcoming. And I know I was theorizing. I was like, I was asking if that suit is going to have another. It was my assumption, another Stark designation. So, oh, hold on a minute. So there's a high chance that it's going to have nothing to do with Stark, and that could very well be a Shield suit due to everything that's happening. I mean, the whole design and feels, different.
Potential spoilers.
potentially. The front of the suit and everything else. But yeah, check it out. It was awesome. Of course.
I mean, come on. Nick Fury and what's her name?
there you go
chick,
again.
The other chick. I don't remember her name, but they're both in Far From Home.
Right.
You remember that was reported some months back.
Right.
So, I mean, he's got a new suit. We don't know what's going to happen with Stark. He's got multiple new suits. He's got that black suit too.
He does.
This suit does not look quite as flashy and techy.
It doesn't.
It looks cooler, by the way, in my opinion.
I love it.
Which is something I'm starting to find with you and I. Like, as much as we both love Spider-Man, we both have very different opinions on Spider-Man suits.
Oh, we do. I mean, just look at our PS4 play.
That's right. I'm just like, I'm watching. I'm like, why are you using that suit?
You're like, why do that? I'm like, cause it's MCU suit. And you're like, man, whatever. I got my 2099.
That's right. That's all you need is the 2099 suit. That's all. You even put in the other one, but that's all you need is the black suit. That's it, all day long.
Oh man,
all day long is the black 2099 suit. No, this is a red and black suit. Interesting about this, and I didn't know this, and this is a little known fact. And it's kind of funny because we were talking about Steve Ditko a few months ago with his unfortunate passing.
Right.
The original Spider-Man suit was supposed to be red and black.
There you go.
The original suit, and it's kind of funny because I remember actually, back in the 90s when the evolution of coloring in comics and shading and such actually hadn't changed much in the decades from the 60s to then. They started doing some serious evolution in the late 90s, but in the early 90s it hadn't changed too much. A lot of times blue was used as a color to show kind of shininess and glare and such on things that were black. And that's been a common way to do things in comics for decades.
Right.
And that is how Spider-Man's suit actually ended up being blue. Was that because it actually wasn't supposed to be blue? It was supposed to be red and black.
And that takes you back to those old even the old Superman comics and the old Iron Man comics. They're supposed to have a really dark tone or like black tone here, but it looked blue. But,
yeah, right. And it just kind of stuck. So they just went with it. But if you look at a lot of the very early Spider-Man stuff, it's really dark.
Right.
And I'm not saying the tone of the story.
No, I know.
The suit is really... Because when you start seeing it's really dark and comics, it's like, oh my God, people are dying.
Yeah.
Batman's brooding over stuff.
I was about to say...
It's his suit. The suit was initially supposed to be black, so it's kind of interesting. I think with the stealth suit that we saw some images of in this suit, I think you're starting to see a change in where his tech is coming from.
Right.
And I don't think it's going to be from Avengers. I don't think it's coming from Iron Man. I think it could be the Avengers. Something's obviously got to happen to the Avengers here too. They're going to need funding as well. They're going to have to get money from somewhere.
Right.
If it's not Stark, or at least their tech.
Right.
But I think like we've been saying, I think we're going to see Spider-Man become part of Shield. I think Shield's going to make a big comeback.
Cool. Hey man, I'm all for it. I know the only thing I've seen people freaking out about was that during filming there was a scene with Tom Holland and Zendaya they pointed at. But other than that, we really don't have a whole lot on the boat. I'm fine with that. I'm willing to go radio silent till I see what comes out next year with it. Can't wait.
No, yeah, it's all going to happen like real soon after each other. We're going to get Captain Marvel, and then we're going to get Avengers 4 and Spider-Man. It's all within like 4 months.
Sweet. Speaking of hints, we did get some subtle stuff. Now this takes me back to before we got Infinity War. when the action figures came out ahead of time and we saw the first snippet of Thor's Stormbreaker. At least that's when initially what I first thought of. But yeah, basically we got some toys that are giving a few hints about the upcoming Avengers 4. Now, one of these sources was from Twitter, a picture that had the Hero Vision toys. I think what's the sixth Team Tech World, if I was reading that right.
Oh boy, which one are you looking? Are you looking at the one with Thor?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just tell me that.
Yeah, okay.
Please, I gave you a couple links. Yeah, so you got a picture here of Rocket and Thor, and there something. Okay, so again, spoilers.
Yep.
And these are pretty heavy spoilers. I mean, when they're coming out with stock photos that they did of production of I mean they're wearing these suits.
Right.
These are apparently going to be part of a uniform that most of the Avengers are going to be wearing. These suits are what is that? What does the Ant-Man go into?
The quantum realm?
Quantum, yes, thank you. Those are apparently going to be suits that are going to allow them to go into the quantum realm.
Sweet.
This is leading more to time travel and going into the quantum realm and all that stuff. Almost everybody's got these suits.
Interesting.
So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of that. So there's that, and that's on the back of a toy that's coming. Or actually, I think combo toys. I think it's both of them. So there's that, and then the other one, and I forgot to go back and point to you what was important about these links.
Yeah, I was like, well, there's a blurry picture. Thanks.
The other one has a bunch of toys. It's got a bunch of, I think, 6-inch figures.
Right.
You can't make out pretty much the whole left side, but the right side you can see some of that. And you see Captain America as well in one of those suits.
Yep.
But you've got 2 Iron Men there.
You do.
And one of them is smaller and I would say outright more feminine than the other. And a lot of people are thinking that's Rescue. Now, do you know who Rescue is?
No. Fill me in.
Rescue is Pepper Potts. That is her Iron Man suit.
Ah, see, when I saw that, I didn't know if they were doing a callback to what they did with the Avengers animated movie, where Stark ended up disabling the Infinity Gauntlet by inventing something that could effectively absorb the power of each stone, and he inverted.
Stupid.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I forget how he did it, but he flipped it, inverted it on him somehow. I'm gonna give you the clip because you need full context. I don't think you need to take me at my word.
So, but what you just told me sounds really dumb.
Yeah, but watch the clip. I need to watch it again too. So.
But yeah, that's supposed to be. A lot of people are leading to that being Rescue, which is cool. We're gonna see some Rescue. That's Pepper Potts' suit. I actually just recently discovered this, completely unrelated to anything with the movies, but it makes sense that Pepper Potts is also very different in the comics than she is in the in the MCU. But so that's interesting. She's also been very anti-Iron Man in the last couple times we've seen her.
Oh yes.
It's kind of interesting to see that she would have her own suit eventually. It made sense to me, but out of context to how they've been doing Pepper Potts in the movies, but made sense to me. So we're gonna get some Rescue. I think we're gonna get a brief cameo probably. I doubt she'll be doing any time traveling. I don't think. She's typically not in the movies a lot to begin with. She's probably got maybe half an hour screen time throughout all of her appearances.
Right.
So
probably with the most being in the 10 years ago.
The first 2 Iron Man.
Yeah, the most there. Shoot. All right. That's
some more stuff.
Yeah. It's about all on our Marvel plate, but not on the gaming plate. First up, this is something that's been in limbo, of course, with the whole issue that's happened with Telltale, with the Walking Dead game being up in the air. Well, it's no longer in the air. It's definitive here. Skybound Games is going to pick up Walking Dead to finish this thing up. Chris, your gameplay has been saved. You will get to play this.
We're going to do some stuff with it now. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while. Skybound Games does not make a lot of good games. Um, but the important thing about that, in fact, we were looking at they were doing a Walking Dead game that I was just dying for. The trailers that they'd come out with were great. The gameplay when we saw it at E3 was like, ew, what the hell is this? Skybound Games is owned by Kirkman, who writes and owns The Walking Dead. He's the guy.
There you go.
And I forgot that this was his company, and so this was announced like right after we did our last show, and I was like, all right, that makes complete sense. In fact, I was, I made mention of, Kirkman's not going to let anything happen to this.
No.
He will make sure this story gets told because there are a lot of fans to this. It's also one of the very few things that has been, besides some books, that has been an expansion of the comic book universe of The Walking Dead. He's not going to just let this hang in the wind.
Cool.
So, and so here you are. They are going to try to bring as many Telltale game employees back in on this project as possible. The announcement said that they want to get everyone from who was working on these games. They want to get them back, and there's obvious reasons for that. One, that would be really nice, obviously, because they all lost their jobs in a heinous way.
Right.
Secondly, these are the people who were obviously making this, so it'd be good to have them on board. But they're going to try to do this as much as possible. There is no production yet on this. So, and I had read something on there about they're going to attempt to use what was already built so far for these last couple chapters, but they may not.
Right.
But this is to end which this season was to be the end of the series anyways.
Right.
4.
Right.
But they're gonna finish it. They're gonna wrap it up. But it could be a while.
I can respect that.
Right.
I'm just glad that things get in an ending period and that this will be able to continue. When you when you do this one, hey, let me know when this finally does clear, because I don't think I'm gonna have eyes on this. Or at least when the final announcement goes out, could you let me know if the whole DLC thing even comes to fruition, come to light? I mean, I know part of what I was reading about this was possibly that might happen down the road, or a couple new games, stuff like that. But yeah, let me know if like this is it, or are they really going to do anything else tacked on top of it? Kind of curious.
You mean anything in addition to finishing these chapters?
Yeah, there was a part, I think, in one of the articles to this about leaving the door open for some DLC or even new Telltale style games. Yeah,
I saw. I think if they were going to do any DLC, it would be similar to some of the things that they've done in some of the other seasons. Like at the end of season 1, they came out with something called 400 Days, where it was completely different story based in that world, but had nothing to do with the main story.
Got it.
Followed in season 1. I believe it was season 3. They did some. It was actually, I think, the first time outside of some appearances. They did some additional DLC with Michonne from the comic, and they followed some adventures that she had done outside of the comic book, and kind of filled you in on what was going on there. So it would probably be something similar to that.
Cool. So, well, I'll see it on the channel once eventually we actually get to play it and when it's up.
That's
so
right. That's
cool.
Right.
I'll check it out then. This next one involves PSN, and this is actually something I've wanted to see happen for a long time. There's a rollout that's happening with Sony around early next year. This is going to be for your PSN online ID. Now,
finally let us change this?
Yes. Finally. Yeah, so people have wanted to do this forever, and we finally get a chance to do it.
One of them.
You actually want to change? I know you want.
Yeah. Me, like a lot of people, they made their initial name and they didn't cap the first letter, and then they want to go back to.
Oh yeah. It's little stuff like that, or you got XXX Sephiroth 70s. I don't know, whatever it is. You want to take numbers out. Whatever it is, you can do it.
Up in a little bit, and they're like, you know what? I don't want this name attached to me anymore.
Exactly. Right now, people who were involved in the like system software betas and stuff like that, or something like the closed play, I think they're going to be some of the first people who can do this, who already get access to it. The first name change you do should be free of charge, but any change after that is going to cost $10.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It is. Now you can knock that down by half if you're going to be if you're a PlayStation Plus member. And that's $5 for any of them. So I mean, chances are, I mean, if you play fighting games online like through PS4, if you're already Tekken and stuff like that, PlayStation Plus is already in your backyard, so that's not a stretch.
Why do you think this has been such a big deal?
You know, I read about this years back as to why there was so much drama on it, and about why the PSN ID was stuck. I know part of it, if I recall correctly, had to do with the translation back from PS3 because they kept all your stuff. You know, PSN didn't terraform going from PS3 to PS4, but there was something to do with their system infrastructure then that they didn't want to throw into limbo by allowing you to change. And people have complained about this forever. It's long been a sticking point they've been intending to address, and they've been saying, "Yeah, we'll get to it. Give us some time. We'll get to it." But well, now they finally actually got to it, and I'm actually trying to think of the most base reasons why. I know there's a more technical reason than what I'm saying for that, but I know it was pretty confident it was part of that translation process.
I mean, I could see some issues with like trolls or just general assholes, you know, doing horrible things in game and then changing their name.
Right. Right.
I have to be honest, I'm not familiar enough with your communiques in your PlayStation to really know how much of that would be an issue.
Right.
So,
right.
But I could definitely see that in general.
In fact, you know, I think you're actually along a better track. There was in fact, I just pulled this up. I keep a little docket for important stuff. There was an article all the way back from, man, it's like 2014, 2015. And in fact, Sony got into this, talking about why you can't change your PSN name. And specifically, I know back then the explanation was they wanted to curb the behavior of griefers, people like that. And they said, you know, well, look, we want to give more control across the whole experience, and you know, so on and so forth. But yeah, that's a major reason. So, but yeah, if there's probably some accounts out there that you've just let sit, or you've been dying to change it, here's your shot. You'll get it next year. So I'm down with it. And when you get the capital, I'll need to send you a cookie.
Brief people one time. So choose wisely.
Thanks, Spider-Man. Everybody gets one. Oh man. So.
Oh my God, what's that from?
That was a Family Guy.
That's right.
That one episode where he comes.
That was great.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. All right.
See, now I'm happy I'm going to be able to change it, but now I don't want to like blow my one free one on just the cap.
See
the first letter.
See.
I feel like I got to save it.
You got to make it good.
Can I just pay $2 to change the letter to a cap?
Right. They should dice it up, so there should be a payment plan depending how many vowels you have, or you know, if you just use like A and E, it just costs this. Yeah, let's just get a whole payment structure. I'm down.
$1 to change something from lowercase to uppercase, or vice versa. You got to pay $10 for any kind of weird kind of German letter or something that you want to use in your name. If you want more than 20 different spots, you got to pay an extra $150 for every spot after 20. That's horrible. I know it makes sense, but I shouldn't have to. I just want to change the first letter.
I know, right? $10. Oh man. Oh well. At least we're actually getting it.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
So that's going to do it on the gaming front, on the show and movie front, and I think it's time for an info minute. All right, Chris, when you were in school, did you used to hit up the cafeteria, or did you bring in your lunch? How'd you do it?
Oh my gosh! So yes and no. It all depends on when you're talking about. Like, are we talking high school, middle school?
Let's go like elementary, middle school.
Elementary school, I was all about that cafeteria food. The mashed potatoes were horribly, they were horrible for me, but they were so good. Um, High school, no. No, I didn't in high school. Middle school, yeah, but high school, I don't think I ever ate cafeteria food in high school.
Not once. Wow.
No, I don't think in high school I did. No, I mean, then I go to high school a lot. So.
Yeah, yeah. It's like isn't it like you got a big point of reference, like frame of reference here.
Yeah, but you get to be 15, 16 years old. You got your car. You're leaving.
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, you can just, or you can walk. There's plenty of restaurants right down
Yeah,
the street.
you got to be the cool kid. I'm gonna go off campus. I'm gonna get my Subway. I'm gonna get my $5 foot long.
You were a cafeteria kid, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah, I could tell with that little bit of disdain that you just had there in your voice.
Yeah, a little bit. Now it's funny. I say that. I can't say that I was committed cafeteria kid. I was during middle school when I moved, when I was overseas. That was a different story. That cafeteria food was next level. I mean, yeah. I'm talking like apple rhubarb crumble, like custards, like tuna sandwich, like beef, like roast beef Wellingtons. Sick. That
sick.
It wasn't. It just, I was out of this world. That was part of the reason I chose that school. But don't tell anybody that. But no, man. I'd mix it up. Usually, my mom was always chill about that when I was coming up. When I was in, especially in early elementary, she'd always pack me a lunch. I still got my X-Men thermos, and I got my original Transformers Gen 1 lunchbox.
Nice. That's a weird combination.
Yeah. That's what
sounds awesome.
That's what I always took in with me. But yeah, it was pack lunch early. I kind of just carried on later on. I did that in high school too, in cafeteria.
Do you still have that lunchbox?
Yes, I do.
I take care of that. That's probably worth some money.
I think it is. I know that and my X-Men thermos. I'm gonna put them in a special spot.
What kind of X-Men, like, was that a cartoon thermos, or was it, like, based off of the old comics?
Yeah, it's like, it's old comic inspired. It's the old school, like, Wolverine with the yellow and brown outfit, old school Magneto and everything. I think it's like Magneto, Wolverine, Cyclops as you turn around, but it looks like a comic page wrapped around it. It's really cool.
Okay.
Really cool.
So nice.
But hey, all that being said, all this lunch talk, this is for something that went down in New Canaan, Connecticut. These were sisters and former cafeteria school workers, and it looks like they could be facing some prison time for a scam that involves stealing nearly $500,000 over the past 5 years alone. The sisters were 61 and 67 years old. They got charged with larceny and defrauding a public community. The range they're looking at here is between 2012 and 2017. Again, that was close to the tune of $500,000. Police say the scam looks like it went on for 15 years or more. They limited the scope of the investigation to 5 years. So what the heck happened? What were they doing? Well, apparently they finally got put in administrative leave for this in late 2017. And the way the cases got brought up was the average daily deposits into, these were middle school cafeteria workers, by the way. The daily deposits going into Sachs Middle School was fluctuating in a really weird way. The average dailies from 2013 to 2016 were like $18 to $33 a day. Deposits started hiking up to $93 a day, 2017, up and up and up. And then it went up to $183 a day, and just these really weird patterns. They got questioned about it. Turns out that in the affidavit, in the interview, they said, hey, look, we wouldn't personally take this money, but the money was provided to their boss, in quotes, roughly to the tune of around $100 a day. So apparently there was some weird funneling happening here, or at least their manager, their boss, was skimming off the top of this or cooking the books a bit on the numbers, and this has just gone on, and they finally got busted on it. But man, they each have a $50,000 bond. They're still working out the reimbursements for all this and everything. But I said, man, for goodness sake, lunch, leave the kids alone, man. You got to be doing this.
So they're going after the two lunch ladies, but they're not going after their supervisor?
Oh, you'd think they would, right?
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything about them because it sounds like he was the one that was filing all of this. So your typical lunch lady does not do bank deposits. It sounds like they weren't. It sounds like they were giving the numbers to him, and he was skimming the deposits. Am I taking that right?
Well, he was involved, when I've read about this, that he was involved in the actual skimming process. I think the lunch ladies themselves, because if you've seen it, that's how, a lot of it works in the high schools and middle schools. There's like a little cash register. Yeah. And a lot of them, they're working with that directly, on a day-to-day basis. So they get those numbers first. I guess the first reason that they came to them was because their manager wasn't doing the accounting process up front for this. He wasn't taking the cash, processing each student, all of that. I think they were taking that as, well, let's see if we can go to the source where this is happening. Say, hey, wait, we didn't take anything. What this guy doing? So, hey, the investigation's still ongoing. These two have just been busted. Of course, he should, obviously, in all this. I, from what I'm seeing, I'd hate to see that end with just them, but just weird, man. I don't think I've ever heard of someone scamming kids like that.
Well, and so they're talking about $500,000 over 5 years, and that went on for about 10 years prior to that they're not even going after. It's probably a change in technology, which makes it impossible for them to prove any of those previous years, would be my guess.
Right.
The only reason police and authorities usually don't go after something is because they can't prove it.
Right.
So who knows how much they actually got? I mean, if you're looking at inflation and such, probably another 10 years prior, you're probably looking at about $1 million more.
Easy.
If the numbers are staying with the trend. People like to think that just because you're an older lady, you're a granny of sorts, that you're more trustworthy.
Right.
No. Dirty people are dirty all the time.
And it goes to show, even if you didn't directly participate in something like this, saying, hey, I didn't take anything, but I knew what was happening.
I mean, how many employees of that company, didn't get raises because the money coming in wasn't where it should be, expansion wasn't done, new employees weren't brought on, or people were let go.
Right.
Because the numbers weren't adding up the way that they should have been. $500,000 in 5 years, that's people's salaries.
Yes, it is.
All right, that's a difference maker.
Yeah.
And, have they tried justifying this at all?
Not that I can see yet. I know let's see, Mark Sherman, the attorney for Wilson, said his client would be pleading not guilty at her arraignment and said that the accusations against her were false and misleading. Quote, there's much more to this story. Marie is innocent and did not personally divert a single nickel of town money for personal gain. She is not going to be scapegoated for the missing money.
All right, so now let's talk about what you had mentioned and what is the worst part of this, which is the fact that this is at it's a public school, right? I'm assuming? A public school lunchroom. Yeah, that was in part of the charges. That's just a special kind of nasty. A lot of those lunches those kids need, and you're taking away from the company's ability to produce this for them by again, you're looking at about $100,000 a year. This is school lunch money, all right? The food's kind of cheap to begin with. The prices are typically they're not all that high because they're, again, school lunch money, and it's not the highest produced food. So it's already not the healthiest, but you're taking away from a company's potential of being able to serve better, healthier things for kids. These ladies are a special kind of dirtbag.
Yeah. I've always.
I'm a dirtbag. But they're a special kind of dirtbag. That's the kind of dirtbag I'm like, get out of here.
No, I've always said, dude. We're all crappy in our own ways, but. Seriously, it takes a special kind of a low to mess around with kids. I'm sorry, it's just kids. That's ridiculous. So I hate it. I'm glad I never ran anything like this in my time in school. Sucks those who had to deal with this and everything like that. But hey.
Yeah, for anyone of the kids that are they're under 18, they're still going to school. Next time you go up to your lunch lady, just slap her in the face. I know what you did.
I know what you did. That's for New Canaan.
Do not slap your lunch lady in the face. I'm just kidding. No slapping. I did not. I told you that in jest and immediately took it back. So I don't. We can't afford any kind of lawsuit around here. So don't be slapping ladies.
No, we cannot cover legal fees for that. So.
No, we can't even fight Nintendo over pictures.
No.
So we're definitely not taking a lawsuit about the kids slapping their lunch lady because Chris on the Jagged Edge told them to. Although it was funny to say.
See, it's like a Hallmark moment. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to bring us to the end for now, people. But hey, what do you think of all this? Whether it's Marvel news, gaming news, you just excited that Telltale Games Walking Dead is going to be on its feet? Excited for the Spider-Man announcements? Hey, whatever it is, toss us a comment, please. We'd love to hear from you. A like or a sub to our channel helps us keep expanding, keep bringing content to you guys in the best quality that we can. Stay tuned right here, not just for our upcoming weekly shows, but also for our reviews. Of course, like we said at the beginning of the show, we got plenty more of the Let's Plays coming. Spider-Man next week. Soul Calibur's already here. Much more to come. But until then, hey, that's all we got for you. So, you guys take it easy. Have a good weekend or just a good day wherever you're listening from. Peace. Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, there anything we go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but it'd be great if you could throw some support. You can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksawmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, dig up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.